Hello everybody, this is the euro dollar and get ready for the third week of July. Now Greece saga is pretty much over in the sense that they came up with an agreement. That agreement is not exactly the best for Greece, and some say that it's actually worse than what was proposed before, but in any case it was approved, and as far as we understand, it's going forth. What's interesting about this is actually since that the euro kept going down, we've won two higher low, which I would say this one is one here. This one would be the second one. Actually, this one could be considered the third one, but that break here was not very strong. So why is that happen? I mean, actually, before the Greece issue happened, the euro was going down, and basically now it seems to maybe returning into that trend. We talked about that triangle here, which I'm going to do it bigger, which has been broken, and basically it also break a level of support from the daily chart. Today it's actually at the opening on Asia. It's actually trying to go back up, and quite possible that it may go back to the triangle or to the trend dragon trend line before coming back down. But right now I would say that down would be a good way to look at it. So on the downside, I would imagine that as it is now, if you don't enter the market, you may want to look at that level here at 1.08 figure, which was the previous level of support, which might be broken. So if we look at the weekly chart, the currency is right now at a level of support of the weekly chart, and if it breaks it, should actually continue on the downtrend at least until the 1.05 level. Now this level is interesting because of the weekly chart, because in this level here also you could actually rebound from it, and could potentially go all the way back up to that trend dragon line at 1.12. Which would be back to essentially the triangle. So we could see that this week, a reverse to the uptrend. It's quite possible that it could happen, but we'll see how it develops. So on the downside, under the 1.08 figure would be a good entry. Now on the upside, it's actually not really any more good area on the upside unless it goes back into the triangle and break that level of support at 1.12. Substantially breaks it, then maybe it would be probably wanting to go back up, and then this would not be a triangle. It would be just a maybe a build up to the upside. But in any case, for this week, I would probably be looking at the short side at this level here, and we mentioned earlier as far as the zone, that this blue area here would be a first level of shortening, but it would be also quite choppy, because the currency would have to go through all those level of support and resistance, and of course the target, if the currency goes below that low here at 1.0462, then obviously it would be definitively an area where a lot of selling interest would go down, and probably go into at least parity, and maybe even lower. So we'll see what happened this week on that. Looking at the cable, just without trend dragon trend line, I mean, we can still see that pennant and that pennant was broken, and right now it's basically back to that level, which is not unusual. And so the area would be probably easy to see as far as the selling. You could look at the selling under that 38.2 Fibonacci retracement if it breaks it down. And of course we looked at that blue zone, which was actually breach and actually retraced from it. So there's two things here going on. In this case, originally we thought that could be a head and shoulder, but turns out to be more of a pennant. That pennant was broken down and basically retraced to it. So there's another micro head and shoulder here that could be happening, which in this case the entry would be at that level right here, which is I would say about here, and that would mean that a buy above 1.57 figure would be a good way to look at it. And of course you would see a bit of a lot of resistance here, the 50% Fibonacci retracement, which is also the previous high at 1.58 and a half. So that would be on the long side. The short side is pretty much reverse. We'll be looking at entering under that low here that was created, or that last week has been a bit of a consolidation under that 38.2 Fibonacci retracement. That would be 1.5540. Under it, I think that the currency could go down and go back into that blue zone we talked about, and potentially try to break further down. And of course, if it breaks under here, under the 1.5162, then it would be quite a good sign. A bit hard to judge the timing into that. If we look at the weekly chart right now, I mean we can see that the currency tried to break down under the trend dragon trend line and actually refused that, and last week went back up. So maybe there's some pressure on the upside. We'll see what happens, especially those levels on the daily chart are broken. If we put trend dragon trend line, it actually goes back and confirms the level that we talked about, maybe refine them a little bit, shows a potential entry at the break of 1.5676 instead of the 1.57 figure that I talked about earlier. I will still wait for the 1.57 figure as a potential entry. And of course, on the downside, same case scenario here, under the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement under the trend dragon trend line would be also a good entry. There will be a level of support here at 1.5443, and then of course if it breaks that low here, 1.5320, that high here would actually just be a lower high, and that would accelerate the move down. So a little bit sideways this week on the British pound, a lot of days with dojis and things like that, so not very much a lot of conviction as far as where it wants to go. But right now the daily and the weekly are sort of pointing on the pressure to the upside. So look at those levels and be careful on those levels. The Japanese yen has basically confirmed the pennant formation that we talked about earlier this week by breaking it substantially. Also broke that level of 38.2 and is moving back up. We talked about that blue level here for entry for going long, as well as that other blue level here, which now are pretty much in play. So when you look at the Japanese yen as where it is right now, I would probably be looking at entering if the currency breaks above that high here, or this high here. So that second blue zone that we have would probably be a good way to go, and the objective would be that high over here. If we go into the trend dragon trend line, we saw that break here of the trend dragon support. Resistance, and of course the market is consolidating a little bit here for that level at 124.37, which was the previous level of resistance. So if he breaks that level here, I think that there's a very good chance that he would actually move up to the top, and this would be a potential of about 130 to 130 pip 30 pip trade. Japanese yen, right now I would only look at going long with the Japanese yen. I don't see much opportunities to go short. So so far this week it looks like maybe the dollar, as far as Japanese yen is concerned, the dollar may find some strength with the correlation of currency. If the dollar finds some strength, then it should find some strength in other area. Though the British pound seems to be quite strong, and the euro is maybe just retracing right now. So that's about it for this week. We have to see how it develops a little bit. A bit still uncertainty in the market and a bit lack of directions. But when you trade this week, if you want to look at lower time frame, I mean, just be aware of the daily situation and use cautions. Like you see here, there's been some very small bars in the Japanese yen. That's it. Have great trading. If you have any questions, please let me know.